To see in this area when it comes to assault rifles are the M16 and the AK-47, and that's simply because they carry that 5-shot kill potential into their second damage range as well. So you're going to see a lot of consistency out of those. The MDR is the worst when it comes to ranges. It appears they really tried to balance this as an SMG assault rifle hybrid to a degree, and you'll see that reflected with a couple of the other stats as well as we move on in the video. But at this point, you might be wondering, what about headshots? Because headshots are actually quite powerful in this game if you can land multiple. And let's just look at the comparison, including headshots into the equation. With this, before each time to kill value, you see the number of headshots required to get that time to kill. This is the number of headshots required mixed in with body shots. So with the M16, for instance, within that maximum damage range, we can actually get a 3-shot kill with this as long as every single one of those shots hits the head. And that gives us a very fast time to kill potential in this game at 200 milliseconds. But if you don't land all 3 and you just land 1 headshot in mixed in with body shots, you can still get a 4-shot kill potential at 351 milliseconds. Also, it is worth noting I put the headshot multiplier underneath the name for each of those guns because there is actually some variance there. The M16 and the AK-47 get a little bit of extra headshot damage compared to the others. I would say the big standouts here are actually the AK-47 and the ACR 6.8 because in their maximum damage range for both of them, you only need to land 2 headshots mixed in with 2 body shots to get a 4-shot kill. Whereas with the MDR and the M4, for instance, you got to mix 3 headshots in with 2 body shots to get a 5-shot kill. So it's going to be a lot less often with those guns that you'll see a reduction to your time to kill by mixing headshots in. So this graph does go to show how powerful headshots can potentially be, but they're actually not quite as powerful as I thought. I thought in most cases you would just need to mix 1 headshot in with body shots to cut that down, and that's rarely the case, especially not in the maximum damage ranges. As for the next thing that I feel is quite important to point out here is how do these assault rifles stack up against the Phantom faction? Because Phantoms have 120 health, whereas everybody else and everything I've been looking at so far is just at 100 health. But before we do that, today's video is sponsored by Manscaped, and it's that time of the year for spring cleaning, and that also applies to your grooming. Today, we're going to be once again having a look at the Perfect Package 5.0 Ultra from Manscaped. Now, you guys might remember me covering this from back in December, so now I've got a solid season under my belt, pun intended, and I'm still using it regularly, and it's holding up great so far. And let's start this off with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This trimmer is the centerpiece of this set, featuring Manscaped's skin-safe blade heads. Now with this, we've got the trimmer blade for your general trimming needs. This one's tough on hair, but gentle on your skin. And if you're looking for a closer, smoother finish, you can easily pop that trimmer blade off and just swap over to the foil blade. Additionally, with this trimmer, the battery life is excellent. Like I said, I've been using this since December, and I've only had to charge it twice so far. And as far as cleaning goes, it's super easy. It's waterproof, so you can just take it in the shower with you or rinse it under the faucet for a quick clean. As for the rest of the Perfect Package 5.0 Ultra, you also get the Crop Soother Aftershave Lotion and the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Now, it doesn't stop there. When you order the Perfect Package 5.0 Ultra, you also get a free gift, which is the Shed 2.0 travel bag. This has been excellent. I actually managed to do a little bit of traveling with it so far, and it held up great. So if you guys are interested, head over to manscaped.com and get your hands on the Perfect Package 5.0 Ultra today. And when you use my code TXA20, you'll get 20% off your order, as well as free international shipping at checkout. Big thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. All right, so getting back into it, here is our range and time to kill graph against Phantom users. And as we can see here, it's generally going to take you 1 extra shot to kill with assault rifles against Phantom players. With one very key exception here, this is the M16. In the maximum damage range, we're still getting a 5-shot kill to the body against Phantom users, which is the same as we get against non-Phantom users. And this means if you find yourself in a lobby with a bunch of Phantom users out there and you want to use an assault rifle, it's pretty clear to me that the M16 is likely going to be your best option because you're going to be killing them up close as if they were just regular players that didn't have boosted health. And that's finally going to wrap it up for all of the range and time to kill breakdowns I wanted to do. Unfortunately, at this point, it would be a little too much to include all the cleaners info as well, because if you are playing as cleaners, you will deal extra damage but have less range. That one's going to take quite a bit more time for me to test and really figure out all the intricate details of that, whereas Phantoms is pretty simple. You just boost the health value of enemy players. So now let's get into the next really important stat to look at here, and this is our recoil comparison. And in this game, the recoil is actually very straightforward and extremely consistent as well. From one recoil plot to the next, it's going to be essentially the same with very minor deviations. The general pattern is going to be exactly the same every single time, and with the way they've got everything set up, it's just easiest to show you one single recoil plot instead of multiple. And as you can see here, obviously the most accurate assault rifle in the game is the M16, and this is largely due to the fact that it's a burst gun that will recenter perfectly between every burst. Then with the MDR, this has a fairly straightforward recoil plot. It kicks basically straight up with just a very, very slight lean to the left. That horizontal drift is practically negligible though. However, it does have technically the highest magnitude of vertical recoil out of all of the assault rifles, and relative to the other assault rifles as well, there is a decent amount of side-to-side bounce as it kicks upward. When it comes to the M4A1, this one has a fairly low vertical magnitude of recoil. However, it does drift pretty far to the right as it's kicking upward. The AK-47 has a pretty high magnitude of both vertical as well as horizontal recoil, but it's like a perfectly diagonal line straight upward and to the right. And somewhat similar to the MDR, there is some side-to-side bounce as it kicks upward with the AK-47. It's not much, but it is enough that it is worth mentioning at least. Overall, I would say the AK-47 has the worst recoil out of all of these assault rifles, but it's still very manageable. And then finally, we've got the ACR 6.8, which also kicks in a nice diagonal line upward and to the right. However, in the case of this one, the bullets tend to be very close together, and there is very little side-to-side deviation on that. It's a nice, nearly perfectly straight line. At the end of the day, these recoil patterns are all very simple and easy to control, as long as you have your aiming settings nailed down. After that, let's have a look at a comparison of our handling stats, and our aim down sight times are all fairly similar. 300 milliseconds seems to be the baseline for assault rifles, but the M4A1 will be a little bit faster at 267 milliseconds, and the ACR 6.8 is going to be a bit slower at 320 milliseconds. It's a fairly similar story with our sprint out time, or how long it takes to fire your gun coming out of a sprint. All of the assault rifles hover roughly around 300 milliseconds, but the MDR is the best out of all of these, with it being sort of that assault rifle SMG hybrid at 250 milliseconds. And then again, with the ACR 6.8, this is going to be the slowest in the assault rifle category at 320 milliseconds. After that, let's have a look at our reload add time. And these values are going to differ from what you see in the detailed stats in-game, and that's because those numbers are referring to the total animation time. However, just like with Call of Duty and many other shooters on the market, you can actually cancel any unnecessary animation once the gun is technically reloaded. So once you see the magazine filled on the bottom right of your screen, at that point, any animation after that is totally unnecessary. You can cancel that animation out, and therefore anything up until that point is what's considered our reload add time. So this is the true potential reload time of these guns. And most of the assault rifles are very, very similar here at about 1.35 to 1.39 seconds, which is actually pretty quick. That's not bad at all. However, it is clear the M4A1 is the slowest in this category at 1.54 seconds. That's still not a horrible reload time by any means. It's just noticeably slower than the other assault rifles. And then finally, for the stat comparison here, I also want to have a look at our movement speeds. And again, this is an area where if you look at the detailed stats, those movement speed values don't actually mean anything. They're just totally inaccurate at this point. So I went in, did all the hand testing, and calculated our movement speed values here. And it turns out all of the assault rifles, aside from the MDR, have the exact same movement speeds. Our base movement speed, so if we're just walking without sprinting, but we are standing up, this is 4.2 meters per second for most of the assault rifles. Our sprint speed is a 1.5 times multiplier on this, so it's 6.3 meters per second. And our aim walking movement speed is a 0.7 multiplier from the base, so the typical speed you'll see with an assault rifle is 2.94 meters per second. As for the MDR, again, they do treat this kind of like an SMG assault rifle hybrid, and as a result, all of our movement speed values are a little bit faster than what you would see with the other assault rifles. And with that, that's finally going to wrap it up for today's stat comparison for all of the assault rifles in XDEFIANT so far. And like I told you at the beginning, I really don't think there is one single best assault rifle in the game for like all situations. And I've got to say that matches my experience in game as well. Like initially, I was really leaning toward the ACR 6.8, and that might be one of the best like all-arounders, but it's not necessarily the best in all situations. And I performed just fine with the AK-47 or the M4A1 as well. Then, when it comes to the M16, it may kill the slowest against regular players, but it kills the fastest against phantom users, and it's also extremely accurate and has excellent headshot potential. And I've got to say, the only assault rifle that I'm really not a big fan of in the game currently, this is the MDR. Well, it is designed to fit that SMG assault rifle hybrid role. Honestly, I feel like it's just kind of a not so great version of either of those. And if I really want to lean into more mobility, I'll go with an SMG. Whereas if I want to lean more into what an assault rifle would be good at, I'll just go with a typical assault rifle that's not the MDR. Those are just my opinions though, and I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. For those of you guys that have put some time in with all of the assault rifles, what are some of your favorite assault rifles to use so far in XDEFIANT. Do you think there is just one best overall, or do you think they've actually done a reasonable job at balancing these with each other? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
I didn't realize like actual former government employees are out here doing this kind of shit. What's the FBI doing? Why the hell did we pass the Patriot Act if not to stop these kinds of people? Do you think the Patriot Act was passed to stop these kinds of people? No, dude. Are you trolling? No, I am not trolling. I genuinely didn't realize that like former State Department employees engage in this kind of behavior. I thought this was like exclusively dudes that look like Boogie 1488 that people that, you know, lolcow people like that, you know what I mean? Like I thought that was who did this kind of shit and not like actual former government employees and shit.
Constant state of fear because random people were constantly showing up to their house all the time for the yard sales or the gangbangs. They didn't know if it was someone that came to whack them or whack them off.
As this is going on, what's it like to be inside your house?
When it would get dark out at night, that's when I would really be terrified.
You guys started sleeping in separate rooms at one point?
What we wanted to do was to make sure that if someone did break in, that at least one of us could either call the police or escape.
David set up security cameras all over the house, but that only made them feel less safe because he kept seeing that damn black van parked right outside their street. Step 3, defamation. Another thing they did was send the most vile, hardcore magazines to the Steiners' neighbors with their names on them. Things like Hustler, Barely Legal, Eye-Popping 18-year-olds, and Femboy Bussy Madness. Jim Baugh later claimed that they never even sent that last one. Either way, now all of their neighbors thought they were degenerates. Step 4, stalking. Every time David or Ina would leave the house to get groceries or run some errands, one of Baugh's henchmen was following them at all times. Always in the same black van with New York plates. They wanted to make sure that David knew he was being followed. Every time they called the police, the stalkers would disappear because they were monitoring the police radar so they knew when they were coming. Step 5, white knight.
This personally turns it into like more of a professional operation. All the other stuff, mostly internet guys, but random trolls will do stuff like this, but they won't take it to this level. At most, they'll like, you know, put your address on Craigslist and try to get other people to like other solicitors to come to your house. That kind of shit. They won't personally ever leave their houses, especially when you're like monitoring police radars or monitoring like police radio. That's professional. Personally stalking a person and also monitoring the police radio to make sure that like you're not caught by the police while you're in the process of personally stalking a person. That's where the basement dwellers that's what I would say separates the basement dwellers from the actual professionals.
Once the Steiners were good and scared, eBay would reach out to them and offer to help. Then, when all the harassment magically went away, the Steiners would be so grateful. They would love eBay. They would only write articles about how great eBay was forever. And if that didn't work, there was a plan B.
Oh wait, I almost forgot about Phytomaster. We'll come back to plan B in a minute. So while Baugh's goons were out there terrorizing the Steiners, Jim himself was spending most of his time trying to identify Phytomaster. And he did this by catfishing him. He set up a fake Twitter account with an attractive woman as the profile picture and slid into Phytomaster's DMs. Marissa claimed that she was a disgruntled eBay employee who had video evidence of eBay executives engaging in illegal activities, and she wanted to turn the video over to Phytomaster at a
I've been giving a lot of thought to what you said. I'm going to trust you with something. I got 3 extremely damaging videos of executives misbehaving. They don't know I have these and I don't know what to do with them. Hey, Marissa. Okay, so to be clear, I'm not an attorney and in no way qualified to give legal advice. Were you an observer or victim in these videos? Or did someone share them with you? Also, these videos of misbehaving Harvey Weinstein, Anthony Weiner type misbehaving, or something showing them clearly breaking laws or something else in general? These are my videos and they're real. No one knows that I have them. I don't want a lawyer. All I want is for the public to see these. It's Weinstein Weiner stuff. Some of it is illegal too.
A secret drop point.
Baugh thought that he had Fido Master by the balls. Here's a message he sent to Steve Weimer.
Regarding the unsuck idiot, I have reason to believe he's either her husband or another close associate. I've been communicating with him every day. I told him I have an incriminating video that he needs to see. He bid on it hook, line, and sinker. I want to leave it at a hotel concierge for him. If I can get him to pick it up, his ass is mine.
God only knows what was on these tapes, but I can imagine it was CP or something else incriminating that they would use to blackmail Fido Master. But luckily, he's no idiot and didn't fall for this, frankly, very obvious honeypot.
Yeah, I don't want a lawyer. I just want to give you these videos. It's so funny because it's like, yeah, my husband is dead. I don't want love or a relationship. I just want sex. Like bot behavior, okay? Straight up. The exact type of bot copywriting that will only dupe people in their weakest moments when they're their horniest, fapping, okay? Like there is no way that you get duped by some shit like that unless you're literally got one hand on the mouse and the other on your cock and you're just ripping it.
Scheme. I don't know about you guys, but if an attractive woman ever messages me out of the blue, I'm immediately assuming it's a federal agent.
So his true identity was never discovered and he was spared from the torture that the Steiners were going through. Which brings me back to Plan B, which is the most terrifying part of this whole video. While the whole harassment campaign was going on, Devin Wenig was conveniently on sabbatical in Europe, which I'm sure is just a coincidence and definitely not a thinly veiled attempt at plausible deniability. Weimer wanted to take care of e-commerce bites before he got back from the sabbatical, but they were already running out of time. It had been 2 weeks and the Steiners were still writing about eBay. That's when Plan B came into effect. What's Plan B? Plan B was basically ordering a hit on the Steiners.
No!
You see, Baugh's employees were mostly former military or police, and they were completely loyal to him. That's why his department has been referred to in court documents as eBay's internal army. So he had these 2 guys.
Bro, what is going on in this country? Oh my God, bro. Someone said Eddie would never. No, definitely not. What the absolute f is happening in this nation, bro? Why is this allowed? Like, I thought this was like some Pinkerton shit. You know what I mean? I thought this was like in the rear view mirror as far as like American history goes. I didn't realize motherfuckers were like, no, we got assassins, bro. We got assassins working under our ranks. Like, let's go do some shit. I don't believe there isn't any way that people like Elon Musk isn't doing shit like this. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about Elon Musk. Oh my God.
Team capturing Zone C. Zone secured.
This is literally the reason why I didn't want to let it be known that I was the single individual largest donor to the Amazon Labor Union Fund until it came out in news articles later down the line, which was a lie anyway. I paid for that, actually. I didn't do that. I would never pay the Amazon Labor Union.
Gilbert and Cook, who were both former police captains, they reached out to a Samoan gang who they knew and paid them a couple $1,000 to f with the Steiners. Baugh said, and I quote, "Once the Samoans are involved, it's out of my hands." I don't know what that means, but it can't be good. That's also why they picked the name Toy Ilay as the main account that was harassing the Steiners, because it sounded Samoan. Luckily, it never came to that because soon their plan would start to fall apart. Now, not all of Baugh's employees were military or law enforcement types. Some of them were just random women that got hired as security analysts. This part of Baugh's team were dubbed Jim's Angels, which is kind of weird, but just like my last 2 marriages, the women would ruin everything. On August 18th, David Steiner was on his way to the local magazine store. He noticed, again, he was being followed. But this time, he was able to get a picture of the car's license plate. The police were able to track down the license plate
Hostiles
to
on
one
the
of
scope in
Jim's
Zone C.
angels, Veronica Zay.
Capture zone
When the police
contested.
showed up to her
Team
hotel to
capturing
question her,
Zone C.
Jim Baugh acted like he was her husband and did all the talking for her. He told them she would be down right away to
Zone
answer all their
secured.
questions. But instead, he smuggled her out of the hotel and put her on a plane back to San Jose.
Is it so outrageous? You literally stream with a dude whose house was firebombed because of what he put online. Yeah, but that's like Australia. And also he was shitting on the government. Why wouldn't it happen in America if it happens? Anyway, let's just continue on with that. I mean, to be fair, I've also personally interviewed, you know, people locked up for treason and tortured by the federal government, by the military, as a matter of fact, for months on end. Dude, I love the government. And also, you interviewed Elon's baby mama? Shut up. No, I didn't. That's a lie. I never did that. I personally never would interview Elon's baby mama. Are you nuts? And I love Gamba. You're paranoia maxing right now? I mean, I'm not paranoia maxing because like everything that I've seen here, to a certain degree, I have definitely experienced, except, you know, all right. Did you leave one extra? Thank you.
Jose. Huge mistake. As soon as she crossed state lines, this went from a small town mystery to a federal matter. Now the whole eBay crew knew the shit was hitting the fan and they had to go into damage control mode. Gilbert, the former police chief, called the Steiners to offer eBay support as part of the White Knight strategy, but they weren't really as receptive as he thought. As soon as he hung up the phone with the Steiners, Gilbert called Natick PD and tried to convince them that the Steiners were actually insane and this whole situation was an elaborate hoax to make eBay look bad. A couple days later, the FBI discovered that the deliveries sent to the Steiners were paid for with gift cards purchased at a Safeway in San Jose, just a few miles from eBay headquarters. These people must be stupid or something. I thought they were like master strategists, but I guess not.
To be fair, I think that like at a certain point there's always going to be a paper trail. They just personally didn't think that, like, I'm thinking of how that could go about that to make it untraceable. But like at a certain point you have to recognize that like there is going to be a paper trail. Like they literally had a physical car. The only way to get around that, like you can't personally hire the services of someone or personally engage in physical stalking without you can't do all of that without like leaving some sort of paper trail or some sort of physical trail. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen.
An investigator called the Safeway and asked for the security footage from when the gift card was purchased. Gilbert found out about this and he tried to use his connections to the local police to give the wrong footage to the feds, but they didn't. Meanwhile, back at eBay headquarters, they were having a party, a shredding party. They were destroying documents, deleting messages, and coming up with cover stories for when the FBI inevitably came after them. As soon as the FBI probe became public, Wenig immediately denied any wrongdoing and stated, "There was no direction, no knowledge, no private understanding, no tacit approval, ever." Weimer also told the press he would, quote, "never condone or participate in any of these activities."
You sure about that?
Despite their best efforts to stonewall the investigation, everyone involved in the conspiracy was criminally charged. Well, almost everybody. Let's see what happened to our goofy cast of characters, starting with the lowest ranking employee up to the CEO himself. Veronica Zay pleaded guilty almost immediately, and she was the most cooperative with the investigation. From what I gathered, she was the most innocent of all these people. It seemed like she was kind of coerced into this whole thing by Jim Baugh, who by all accounts was a scary dude, and his whole operation has been described as cult-like. For years, Baugh engaged in a pattern of breaking down the analysts, firing them without cause, and creating a toxic work environment. He would also show the analysts graphic videos like one of a car crash that was on fire and surrounded by severed limbs and a decapitated head. But I think the most psychotic thing of all is he insisted that his employees refer to him as Dad. That's not to excuse her actions or anything, but it seemed like she genuinely felt bad about what she did. 2 years probation. Stephanie Stockwell, another one of Jim's angels. She was basically Veronica's immediate manager, still pretty low on the totem pole. 24 months probation. Brian Gilbert, former police captain and senior manager of special operations. Still awaiting sentencing as of 2024. Philip Cook, the other former police captain who worked with Gilbert, 18 months in prison, followed by 3 years probation.
Let's go.
Stephanie Pop was eBay's senior manager of global intelligence. Her role in the scheme was sending all of those psychotic and threatening messages to Ina Steiner. 13 months in prison. David Harville, eBay's director of global resiliency, he was Ball's right-hand man. 2 years in prison, 2 years probation, and a $40,000 fine. Jim Ball, 57 months in prison, 2 years supervised release, and a $40,000 fine.
No, that's not nothing, bro. Are you kidding me? For corporate espionage, corporate cyber stalking, like, I'll take it. I just want to know what happened to the executives who were directly involved. Chat, there are executives that were directing this. Let's see what happened to them.
Wendy Jones, Senior Vice President of Global Operations. She was actually Jim Ball's boss and was the highest ranking member of this whole conspiracy other than Weimer and Wenig. She was never criminally charged and continued to work for eBay until December.
Are you kidding me, bro? Are you joking? That's insane. That is unimaginable, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. So they got all the lower level people and bro, oh my God. Oh my God. That's so awesome. That's America, baby. Hey, just don't do it again, okay?
2020 before receiving an $11 million severance pay. Today, she's a board member at Prudential Financial. Steve Weimer is now...
No, they did mention that they sent them spiders and cockroaches in the mail. He did mention that.
Now the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Silicon Valley, which is amazing. This is definitely a man who should be working with children. The Boys and Girls Club's chairman of the board said he was aware of what happened at eBay, but believed Mr. Weimer is a leader with integrity. And I don't know, maybe this guy's going off a different definition of integrity than I am.
Oh my God.
But I don't think that's the word I would use necessarily. Now, you might think that Devin Wenig also got off scot-free, but you'd be completely wrong. Not only was he pressured to resign from eBay, but he was also forced to accept a $57 million severance package. He currently sits on the board of Salesforce and General Motors. It's almost like when you have enough money and influence, you can get away with committing crimes. You could almost say that we live in an unfair system where the rules are different for rich and poor. Nah, that can't be right. As for eBay itself, they were found criminally liable and had to pay
I think dudes who are operating in the troll servers, Discord servers, subreddits and whatnot should remember what happened to the lower level enforcers that actually followed on the desires of cyber stalking individuals. That's all I'm going to say. You know, maybe the executives don't get into trouble at the end of the day, but if you're the one who is operating on the wishes of others and engaging in this sort of shit, perhaps, you know, perhaps you might get into trouble as well. I'm just saying.
a hefty fine of $3 million. Plus, they had to promise to be good boys for 3 whole years. The Steiners made a public statement about all this on their website. We were targeted because we gave eBay sellers a voice and because we reported facts that top executives didn't like publicly laid bare. As of today, the Steiners have received no compensation for their permanent psychological damage, and they're currently suing eBay in criminal court, where I'm sure justice will prevail.
Ah, damn. eBay recently bought the card game selling website TCG Player and has been busting their unionization efforts. Jesus Christ. This was in many ways illuminating, very alarming. They did all this just to target some bloggers in 2019. They were probably the only people reading it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, Hasbro sent the Pinkertons after a Magic the Gathering YouTuber. I remember that one. Magic the Gathering publisher Wizard of the Coast sent Pinkertons after a leaker.
Capture zone secured.
Sticky
All right, let's watch the chiropractor video that Triple made.
It's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
Literally 99% of my profession. Let me explain.
This is Trevor. He studied to be a chiropractor and found major flaws. Trevor posts his criticisms on TikTok and feels a...
Damn, bro. He fucking... This is like his life's work. That's kind of shitty. Imagine you study to become a... Well, you study to become a chiropractor, and then it's just... You're like, well, this shit sucks, actually. It's all
burning
a lie.
Heat of backlash.
It's almost like I'm attacking their religion.
Trevor is just one of many critics of chiropractic.
It's Chiropractic 2022.
Are chiropractors even doctors? Is it safe?
Our chiropractors are real doctors.
Her neck was tight, so she went to a chiropractor.
Oh my God, dude. I'm terrified of this shit, okay? I'm so scared of chiropractors, and I literally think it's bullshit, and I say it all the time. Obviously, chiropractors are real doctors because they're all anti-vaxxers, okay? Chiropractors are not real doctors, but somehow they make up 100% of the doctors you see on social media and all over that are anti-vaxxers.
The debate has reached a boiling point, and with the help of an unlikely friend...
You've probably heard of Scientology.
Chiropractors are winning. But should they be?
Restoring patients to a pleasurable state of mental and physical well-being.
Once you start digging in, it's crazy. I forget how big of a shit pile it is.
Prince Charles come to pay you a visit.
I work in medical negligence law. We call them snappers. Do not go to one. Snapper.
Yeah, sure. He's related to this story as well.
The British Chiropractic Association sued me for libel.
I don't believe in chiropractors at all.
The vast majority.
Dude, when you lost Joe Rogan, who is also the #1 disseminator of medical misinformation, like, goddamn. Unless he actually went back on that, but goddamn.
People do not understand what chiropractic is or what it's for.
Usually localized blunt force trauma is called an injury. In chiropractic, it's called medicine. Yeah, well, sometimes you need a swift kick in the fucking ass, okay? Yeah, I'll just say it. Don't do any of this shit, okay? Don't do this stuff. Medical degrees are overrated. Yeah, no. Okay? Don't do any of this shit. These guys are crazy. They will break you, and it will not be good. I don't understand why people go to chiropractors. Physical therapy is real, okay? It's a real science, it's real medicine, and it's actually really important that you do that if you have an injury. Chiropractors, on the other hand, absolutely not. I also have never actually like met someone that's been like, I went to a chiropractor and it changed my life. I've only heard bad stories of people that have gone to chiropractors. Maybe because all the good experiences people are just ashamed of.
I'm telling you, be careful, these chiropractors, man.
Right down the road. Look at this.
We have to go.
Okay, let's do it.
Why do they all have mullets? All the homies got mullets in the Triple franchise.
You ready?
See you guys. Today I have irritable bowel syndrome. We'll see if they can treat it.
Some chiropractor offices do scams.
So I have a variety of health issues, just like ongoing chronic stuff. Maybe I should be talking to a doctor. Irritable bowel syndrome. Is that something that you guys do here? Is there a doctor around I could talk to?
Yeah, of course.
Chiropractic helps with asthma, allergies, you name it.
You said asthma.
He's gonna crack his lungs, man. Yo! Hey, yo, he said he can fucking help with asthma? What? What's he cracking? Bro, what are you cracking that you're treating asthma? What the
Asthma,
fuck?
allergies, you name it.
It does help.
High blood pressure. What I do is...
Did you just say that it helps with high blood pressure?
Yeah, you can.
Well, I have low blood pressure. Does it work the other way?
It has the potential to make everything better. No matter what goes inside the body, it has the potential to make it better. That's just the bottom line. How it makes it better, I can't tell you.
I've seen a couple different...
Bro, I'm sorry. That is not trustworthy, okay? If that guy comes out and he's like, hell yeah, brother, let me tell you, I'll crack the shit out of you. Oh, listen, you got cancer, dick cancer? Let me crack it. I'll crack it so fucking hard, cancer comes right out of your dick. Do not. If someone comes out like that, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I'm leaving and never actually returning and never looking back. Honestly, this is the thank you for the service that you just gave me. I will avoid chiropractors permanently.
Common scams that places like this do.
Chiropractic is the process.
They'll offer a free consult.
You will get 3 free ones.
And then they'll rope you in to doing prepaid treatments.
You know, you're gonna have to keep coming in more constantly.
Someone already posted my reaction to FBI vid. Listen, Hassan Abi reacts too. I hope you get taken down, okay? I told you guys not to fucking post this. I told you guys not to post my reaction to this fucking video, and you immediately posted it. This is one of those botted channels too, I think.
Because we have a plan and package.
So you sell a package and then I come in repeatedly to
Yeah.
We need to see you 3 times a week for 3 months.
You should come in 2 times a week for the next couple of weeks, 3 times a week maybe.
That's a plan that we're going to set up now.
Just today.
Yeah, just today. You have to do it today. Because otherwise you're just slapping us in the face saying like, no, I'm not interested in you.
Prepaid treatment plans. A common way to spot that scam is that like it's always the same treatment plan.
I see 6, 10, 20 visits for packages.
No matter who it is, no matter what problem they have, it's always however many adjustments a week.
Weird shit, man.
They have the potential to make everything better.
Here's a survey that was done in 2003 of conditions that chiropractors encounter in their office. High blood pressure, sinus conditions, allergies, dizziness, diabetes, MS, ear infection, pregnancy, ALS.
Diabetes? Bro, this is why we need regulation, man. Because everyone is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, this is not like victim blaming, but it kind of is victim blaming, I guess. But if you have diabetes and you go to the chiropractor for your diabetes, like, you're too stupid. This is why we need laws. This is why we need regulations, because you're too dumb to figure it out on your own, okay? This is why I stress this point all the time, that like rules and regulations are written for the dumbest person in mind. Some of you probably are like, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Who the fuck cares? Like, what do you mean? If I have diabetes, I'm not going to the fucking chiropractor. That's dumb as fuck. Yeah, well, guess what, dude? Think about the dumbest person you know, okay? Now imagine how much dumber people can get from that person, okay? In your group of friends, the person with the average intellect is still the average guy. It goes way dumber than that. There's millions of motherfuckers that are way dumber than the dumber person you know. Think about that. Way dumber. There are people out there, okay, who will openly be like, who I saw in the comments of the dude that whose video, Omar's video I showed you yesterday, okay, being like, guess what? I know you made this 9-minute video where you basically proved that there was misinformation being spread in this conversation, but you still lost because you lost the debate, which is basically an open fucking admission that you do not care about like the truth at all. Like this guy, look, this is my favorite. Maybe stick to debunking with days of editing, since you can't hold a conversation and actually educate people on the spot. There's a reason people look up to Destiny who could actually debate. Brother, this entire video shows that you were misinformed. What do you mean? Like, doesn't that make you upset where you're like, oh, fuck, I was led astray? Like, that's what you're supposed to normally do. So yeah, remember, there's always a bunch of dumbasses out there, is my point. The funniest part about that is you're openly admitting that, like, you don't care about the facts because it sounded good in the moment. What? Why would you voluntarily reveal this information about yourself while simultaneously trying to maintain the position that, like, you do actually hail debates as like an important way to arrive at the truth? Who watches debates for the facts, bro? That's not how you research.
Acne, continence, fracture, BPH, anemia, murmurs, thoracic outlet syndrome, stenosis, kidney stones, and hemorrhoids. Folks, I will tell you flat out, without question, there's not a shred of scientific evidence that says that chiropractic can help in any way with any of these conditions. It just can't.
Fuck. Turns out chiropractors aren't medical doctors. For sure scammy, but like, tip me off. This is bigger than just like scams, like 1 or 2 bad chiropractors doing scams.
Okay.
This seems to be like an institutional problem.
Just a bunch of quackery and voodoo and nonsense. If I'm right, how is it possible the chiropractors practicing a bunch of nonsense?
The YouTuber's name is Chuppel. CHUPPL.
achieved the degree of legitimacy that they've achieved today, because there's no argument that they have achieved a relatively high level of respect and legitimacy.
This isn't some inflated niche debate about odd happenings in the medical field. This is possibly the craziest story we've ever reported on. We interviewed the world's experts.
I'm certainly an expert as far as the evidence is concerned.
Read hundreds of pages of books, legal documents, and diaries. And the answer to all of this is the one that I didn't want to accept. This story has factions, disputes, spies, betrayal, murder, and cults.
If you're on the pro-chiropractor side of the debate, then you believe there's a nationwide organized militia putting a target on the back of anyone who disagrees with that militia's authority. That medical industry giants have illegally suppressed a cheaper alternative to pharmaceutical.
I just gotta say this again. This is why you need regulations. This is why you need rules and regulations. It is so insane. This is why you need rules and regulations. Oh my fucking God, brother. People are too stupid.
Pharmaceutical medicine. If chiropractic is all a sham, then why does almost every insurance company pay for it, including Medicare?
Those that are against chiropractic believe that in 1895, a delusional and dangerous man took his shot at starting a cult, not in ancient Asia, as the branding would imply, but right here on the border of Illinois and Iowa.
Dude, worst place, okay? Let me tell you. Dude! Fuck, dude. America is we are the dumbest country. We're the dumbest country on the planet. We literally take scammers from other countries, ship them out to the United States of America, and offer them phenomenal employment opportunities just so they can fuck our people over. Okay? I'm telling you, dog. It's like Andrew Wakefield is a perfect example. The fact that he is Canadian, by the way, what you're describing, the fact that he's Canadian, okay, and then he came to the United States and did this, it's the exact same thing as Andrew Wakefield. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Andrew Wakefield did this exact same thing. He got banished from the UK. He got disdoctored, whatever the fuck it's called. And then he came to America and now has an incredible life out here, just continuously lying about how like vaccines make you autistic. He's the guy. That's where it comes from. Yeah, he's no longer a doctor. He's a doctored, doctored, snake oil salesman. Always.
They believe that man's cult grew to great numbers, and after his death, his murderer turned his cult from a spiritual one into a capitalist one. After all, the American Medical Association says, it is the opinion of the medical profession that chiropractic is an unscientific cult.
Why is this still allowed? This is what I don't understand. Why is this still allowed? If it's so dangerous, if it is so fucking dangerous, which it is, okay? And these guys basically like present themselves as like medical professionals, which they're not. Why is this allowed? What the fuck is going on? It makes no fucking sense.
And shockingly, both sides are right. All of that is true.
Let me tell you how I ended up in the ER after going to the chiropractor.
No clinical value at all.
Chiropractors are good people. They're good doctors, and they help you. Chiropractors are not doctors.
I think most of the time it's just popping your neck and it just feels good.
It's the 1880s. A con man who couldn't hold a...
Medicare doesn't even pay for dental, but they pay for chiropractors. God, I fucking... Oh my God, how are we so dominant? How are we dominating the world? The world is dominated by the stupidest, the nation full of fucking absolute monkey-brained idiots. I swear to God, we are so dumb.
Steady job, rotated occupations. A beekeeper, a school teacher, a magnetic healer. Magnetic healing was a pseudoscientific medical practice based on the spiritual realm. Magnetic healers believed that the human body has a divine magnetic energy and that they could use their personal magnetism to heal other people's ailments just by like waving their hands above the person's body. But there was a problem. This thing called modern medical science came along And the government started cracking down on those practicing medicine without a license.
Wow, that's fucked up, brother. They're coming after us, but they're actually coming after you. I'm just in the way. You know what I'm saying? Classic, dude. Look at that. Fucked up. 1984, brother.
The man,
this time 1884.
D.D. Palmer, knew this. A local newspaper even published a hit piece on him. Dr. Palmer, a crank on magnetism, has a crazy notion that he can cure the sick and crippled with his magnetic hands. His victims are the weak-minded, ignorant, and superstitious. Those foolish people who have been sick for years and have become tired of the regular physician. Reportedly, D.D. Palmer held a seance. The 19th century was a great time for cults. They were popping up in like all corners of America. His spiritual mentor, who had died 50 years prior, appeared to him and gave him an idea.
He learned this shit from
Down the block from his office, Palmer found a man who claimed to be deaf.
I reasoned that if that vertebra was replaced, the man's hearing should be restored.
So Palmer, for some reason, cracked this deaf man's back.
And lo and behold, the man could hear.
Zone C is falling.
It's not stupid people. It's the sick and the poor that fall for this. My mom has MS, and when I had to explain that homeopathy wasn't real without giving her a new solution, the placebo wore off, and she got worse. The problem of fake cures of the desire is still real. I think there is definitely stupidity involved, but you're right. There's also desperation, especially because in a lot of instances, like, one, a lot of people don't have the money to like go to an actual fucking medical facility, okay? Or they don't want to take like the massive financial L due to the fact that we have paywalled and gatekept medicine in general. Still doesn't mean that there isn't stupidity involved, okay? That's precisely the reason why I'm saying, like, the issue is regulation. Like, the fact that there isn't regulation surrounding this sort of thing, and the fact that the government also literally gives in by allowing this to be like covered by insurance and not like the other shit, okay? How many people know someone at least that has had a hard time getting like real life-saving treatments be covered entirely by their insurance? These motherfuckers are actually allowing, they're covering something that doesn't even heal you while simultaneously denying coverage for things that actually do heal you. It is nutty. It makes no sense. But what the fuck is going on? Simply, this is what I'm saying. Simply put, this is what I'm frustrated by. I hope that makes a little bit more sense for you.
Spoiler alert, there's a problem with this story.
I just don't remember the 8th cranial nerve, the nerve that supplies the sensation of hearing, going anywhere near the spine. Is it possible that I'm wrong? I don't think so. Well, not long.
Over 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates popularized a theory that is all diseases come from one singular cause.
If you think this is bad, there's a Botox lady in Louisiana that injects Botox in people's dicks, claiming it cures erectile dysfunction and operates there because it's unregulated. Botoxing your dick for thousands. Wait, what? Isn't Botox literally just poison? So your dick will never work if you get hit with Botox in your dick. You just have venom. You just have venom cock. You got botulism on your dick.
And that if we can identify like what that cause is, we can cure all illness. He thought this thing called night air was the cause of all illness. Chiropractic, in the same vein, isn't about back pain. It's the cure to all disease.
The founding belief of chiropractic is this: a subluxated vertebra, a vertebral bone, is the cause of 95% of all diseases.
And that the other 5% is caused by displaced bones as well, just not in your vertebral column. Your back. I'm not telling you the archaic origins of chiropractic. This is still what they believe to this day.
In my practice, identifying vertebral subluxations is done completely by manual palpation. That is, feeling your spine with my hands.
We've batted around this word subluxation quite a bit already, and I have yet to define it. It's easier for me to tell you what it's not, because quite frankly, it's not anything. It's never been demonstrated during surgery. It's never been identified at autopsy. It has never been visualized with any type of imaging, not X-ray, not CT, not MRI. It just flat out doesn't exist.
But on that day, when Harvey Lillard's hearing was restored, a child of magnetic healing was born. They called it hand practice. Wait. In Greek, hold on. Chiropractic. D.D. Palmer created a school to teach others how to perform chiropractic.
Wait, what?
To this day,
Brian Johnson? Oh my God, he did it. Wait, what? Is this for real? Is this actually Brian Johnson, the fucking billionaire? I injected Botox into my penis. It increases penis length by 1 centimeter. It also improves 1, erection hardness, peak systolic velocity, and diastolic velocity, sexual health satisfaction. Therapy was built on a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, prospective, comparative study conducted involving 70 patients with ED refractory to PDE5IS.
Team capturing Zone C.
My penile function is optimal. We are testing whether an intervention that showed positive outcomes with ED will enhance performance. This therapy is normally reserved for those that do not respond to PDE5Is and shockwave. However, there's some theoretical basis that it may enhance the tissue rejuvenation effects of shockwave therapy. Otherwise, by itself, it has unclear long-term safety or efficacy. First of all, 1 centimeter is nothing. Like, that's like, what? Like, potentially ruining your fucking cock for 1 centimeter is insane. This guy is so fucked up. You may be telling us more than you mean to tell when you tell us that an extra centimeter is worth all this trouble. Yeah.
it is the largest in the world. D.D. Palmer was charged with practicing medicine without a license. A newspaper reported that he said, "I will pay no fine and will serve out the entire sentence if required to do so." I mean, every good cult has to have a persecution story, right? He said, "I'm not in this cell for a lack of principle, but for an abundance of principle." But less than a month later, he pays his fine and is freed from jail. The homie can't hang. He can't hang. Just not fit to be a cult leader. That's fine, okay? Like, there's no problem with that. I would say that's a good thing. I would argue that, but he didn't stop there. D.D. Palmer's son, B.J. Palmer, took over the business, the Palmer School of Chiropractic. D.D. was not happy about it. Speed run. Here's how things went. D.D. Palmer opens a new chiropractic school in Oklahoma City. Didn't go well. So he opens a new chiropractor school in Portland, Oregon. It also didn't go well. So he moves back to Iowa and opens a competing chiropractor school just 2 blocks from BJ's, the one that he actually started. All the while, local, state, and like the federal government are like, what the fuck? Well, like, what is this? Like, we just started doing this thing called germ theory, and it's like working out really well. We know that diseases don't come from subluxations. Full stop. Like right there. So laws were popping up all around the US trying to regulate this pseudoscientific nonsense. But there's one thing that the government can't regulate. I think you know what it is. D.D. Palmer, when asked by a chiropractor how the profession would survive, said this: "We will have to build a boat similar to Christian Science and hoist a religious..."
Oh my God, just like Scientology. Oh my God, they, no shot.
Flag. Don't try to legalize chiropractic. There's an easier way. Exemption clauses instead of chiro laws by all means. And
no, this is what Scientology did too. No, Scientology did this too. Christian Science did it, but so did Scientology. No, Scientology also did this. Yeah, dude, all the cults get a boat at some point.
And let that exemption be the right to practice our religion. Followed by my favorite part, but we must have a religious head, one who is the founder, as did Christ, Mohammed, Joseph Smith, Martin Luther, and
this is Eddie. What the fuck is
those who have founded religions. I'm kidding with you. This is my favorite part. I am the
Scientology also kind of started like this. L. Ron Hubbard was like super duper anti-psychiatry. Okay, so they basically were like, we're gonna do our own version of Mrs. Eddie started Christian Science. Oh, wait, really? Christian Science was founded by a motherfucker named Mrs. Eddie? Like, that's the name? Bro, you can't, like, at least Joseph Smith or L. Ron Hubbard, like, these names kind of sound like they're coming from a position of authority. Like, God was like, yeah, maybe I'll make you the prophet. Ain't no fucking God is going, hey, Mrs. Eddie, you're my prophet. That's crazy. Mary Baker Eddy. Oh my Lord. Yeah, this is chalk this up for no, I don't support all women. Some of you bitches are dumb as hell. This is one of those moments, okay? Jesus Christ. How? God forbid a woman has a hobby. I mean, are you kidding me? Do you know what this is? Christian Science is like praying the illness away. It's some straight nutty nonsense. To be fair, it's probably one of the more valid ones in comparison to all these other weird cults and shit like that. Because like at the time, they just thought women were like witches and shit. So it's a little bit more valid that a woman was like, actually, I figured out a new way to cure our illnesses. Yeah, the cult industry is very male dominated. This is marginally progressive. Yeah, actually, when you think about it, why do a lot of cults start? Because some dude is really horny and he wants to fuck like 11 women at the same time and like cuck a bunch of people, right? So it's kind of cool because like women usually don't, even if they have the sex drive, they just don't have the intensity. Like they don't have the tenacity. They don't want to go, yeah, you know what? I also want to fuck like 11 dudes, right? So she was a baddie in the 1840s. I mean, she does look kind of like a bad bitch. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know. She's giving goth mommy here.
Only one in chiropractic who can do so. And then, of course, I have received chiropractic from the other world. No one has laid claim to that. Not even BJ. No! Dude hates his son. He hates him. And then BJ ran over DD with a car.
What?
And DD died.
Damn, dude. He should have fucked. He was trying to crack his back.
Yes, seriously.
He ran him over with a car to crack him.
On his deathbed, DD blamed BJ. BJ denied the whole thing, but it doesn't matter because BJ's running the show now. And BJ's like, fuck this religion thing. We're a business. Boom, boom, boom. Homie is pumping.
For the record, much like what we talked about earlier with chiropractors, technically when you're dead, you are cured of all of your problems. Guess what? Not feeling any pain any longer when you're fucking dead. That's all I'm saying.
Out new chiropractors from his school. And the thing that's like so sick for BJ is that he's all these new chiropractors coming to him for all the newest innovations in chiropractic. So BJ invents a bunch of new tools that he can sell. This one finds those pesky subluxations that cause all disease.
Bottom line is there's no such thing as a subluxation. It just flat out doesn't exist.
It's really just a thermometer.
The ideas that form the basis of chiropractic in 2008 are virtually unchanged from the ideas that were spouted forth by Daniel David Palmer. Chiropractic, again, is nothing more than a philosophical belief system. In fact, it much more closely resembles a religion or a cult than it does a healthcare profession.
Well, it's official. YouTube has just now banned anything related to health that doesn't align with the general medical consensus.
Dr. Berg is a doctor of chiropractic. He has 11.1 million subscribers on YouTube and runs a nutritional health company.
My name is Ian Rafalco, formerly Ian Berg. I exposed my dad, Dr. Eric Berg, for being a Scientologist and donating millions of dollars to Scientology.
What the fuck?
Now, I want to be clear. This isn't a takedown of Scientology. Frankly,
which is valid. It's a valid and real religion, and we love Scientology, don't we, folks?
Not qualified to do that. I'm just not the guy. But connecting the dots here really solidified for me something that I wasn't seeing on the online debates.
The casual thinker is obliged to admit that the universe is composed of intelligence and matter, while the former is omnipresent. filling all space. The spiritual intelligence controls unintelligent matter. The universe is composed of spirit and matter.
That's from D.D. Palmer's book, The Chiropractor. It was written half a century before L. Ron Hubbard founded the Church of Scientology.
MEST is a term in Scientology.
For the record, like I was saying, fairly certain that Scientology's inception is not dissimilar. I don't know if this video touches on it, but not dissimilar to what chiropractors, how they started apparently. I didn't know that. But like L. Ron Hubbard very much was anti-psychiatry, okay? He hated it, and he was like what they were basically doing with, what is it called, Dianetics or whatever, was like an alternative to psychiatry. What about the thing with the needles in the back? That's acupuncture, which I still think is like fucked up too, and don't really believe in it, but
MEST is a term that stands for matter, energy, space, and time. It's essentially what you describe as the universe in which we live, as distinct from something like a spiritual universe that exists between people.
Is it pretty central to the faith?
Fuck?
Yeah.
Intelligence and material, spirit and matter. Energy is the life force, the force existing in...
What is happening? Anytime I scroll over chat, it just gets cooked. It's because I spilled the sauce on the keyboard, so it's like automatically pressing up or something on the keyboard.
But I'm sure you'll manage.
That's weird.
Probably unrelated.
Inventions like B.J. Palmer's became a staple of the chiropractic profession. Other chiropractors jumped in, and they sold other pseudoscientific tools of their own making.
The foot vibrator works wonders not only for those poor abused pedal extremities, but aids circulation and relaxation of the whole body. Midriff vibrator.
To this day, tools like this are still a big part of chiropractic.
So this is a nervous scope.
Yeah, they have a lot of weird contraptions and devices.
Acupuncture works. I can swear by it. It's the one thing that gives me pain relief for the condition I've had in my arms.
Hostiles on the scope in
Dude, yeah, my keyboard needs an acupuncture or chiropractor. Acupuncture is like sound therapy, right? It can be nice for therapeutic reasons, but not physical health benefits. No, acupuncture is like straight up fucking like darting your body and like hitting your chakra points or some shit. I think acupuncture is also a kind of a scam. Yeah, I'm scared of that too. I feel like it's also pseudoscientific.
Devices and such. Our basement was full of like pressure point machines for the feet that were all geek.
All you need to know is that Steven Seagal is an acupuncture fan, okay? That for me, it's like when I see a guy like Steven Seagal advocate for it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not believe that. That's enough said, you know what I mean? But I feel like acupuncture actually does come from like Asia or some shit, like some part of Asia. So like white people are like, no, this is real. That's my take. People are gonna get mad at me for saying it, but I do feel like it's one of those situations like, or maybe it's kind of like yoga. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense.
For zone B.
What I'm hearing is it's not being racist because acupuncture is Chinese, like how Singapore is Chinese, as is Japan and Vietnam. True. But also I'm a dick rider for China, as you guys know, so I don't understand. It's from China. Take it back or you won't be able to ride those trains. Fuck. Okay, I love acupuncture.
Ear operated, and like the little gun had a bunch of like wavelength readers. I don't know if they're like heart machines or what, but they were all like wooden and they print out little papers. They never really had direct uses.
Something that you may not know is that the e-meter itself was invented by a chiropractor who was adopted by L. Ron Hubbard.
That doesn't surprise me. In Scientology, it's, I'm sure for legal reasons, described as a machine that does nothing.
The e-meter, infamously at the center of Scientology's evangelist efforts, is a byproduct of the chiropractic profession. Scientology saw the government trying to regulate chiropractic, and in fear of being the next target, they trained select members into a secret group of elite spies. and sent them to the Department of Justice, the DEA, the BBB, the IRS, and the AMA. And what they found was a top secret conspiracy aggressively unfolding at the national level.
The American Medical Association engaged in a nationwide, lengthy, widespread, illegal conspiracy.
A conspiracy targeting Scientology's friend. The American Medical Association had a secret group executing a plan to contain and eliminate the entire chiropractic profession.
We insist that the practice of medicine.
Yeah, and they fucking failed, dude. What an L for the AMA.
Is a doctor's problem.
They're too busy fucking limiting the number of doctors so that they can limit the supply and not have enough fucking doctors out there. Nice, dude.
The doctor is the only one entitled by training, by experience, and by law to take care of the sick.
Sore throat was the pseudonym for the guy that found the plan to contain and eliminate the chiropractic profession at the AMA. Sore throat pushed and guided a chiropractor by the name of Chester Wilk to sue the AMA. And this wasn't that long ago. Chester Wilk had a YouTube channel before he passed away.
The devil is influencing President Obama. Hello, I'm Dr. Chester Wilk. I'm the chiropractor who sued the American Medical Association.
Okay, anyway, he sues the AMA. Wilk and his chiropractor friends alleged that the AMA's plan to eliminate the chiropractic profession violated antitrust law.
Every contract.
Are you for fucking real? God, we are such a brain-broken nation. Oh my God, of course he did.
Combination in the form of trust or otherwise, or conspiracy in restraint of trade or commerce within the several states, or with foreign nations is declared to be illegal.
Which, I see where they're coming from. So the jury was like, this is medicine. We want it to work.
Medical science had come a long way since the day of D.D. Palmer.
Germ theory was totally accepted by this point. Vaccines were saving lives.
Yeah, fake. Also fake. Vaccines making people gay and autistic. Duh.
Medical science was having its heyday. So the jury was like, we're really not that upset about this. And Wilk lost. But there's a technicality in the law. The Sherman Antitrust Act was made to protect us from monopolies and corporate greed.
There's no exception for what's scientific and what is hocus pocus nonsense. It just says
don't restrict trade. And so 7 years later, when Blockbuster was probably waiting on Home Alone to leave the theaters, Wilkes appealed. And he won the case against the American Medical Association.
The very first premise of chiropractic.
That's awesome. It's awesome that our fucking antitrust laws only work in the direction of fucking people. Okay, it's sick. So cool. So cool that you can't use it against AT&T. Okay, you can't use it against fucking Amazon. But guess what, dude? We'll use it against the big bad, scary American Medical Association. Fuck.
Is mistaken.
And then over the next 100 years, you have chiropractic spreading around the world.
Science writer Simon Singh is being sued by the British Chiropractic Association for questioning their treatments.
Smartest thing in the world would have been to have backed down. I think settlement would have meant a payment of a few £1,000s, nothing big, but the problem then is that any other science journalist who wants to write about these kind of things realizes that if you do write about it, then somebody threatens you with libel, you have to back down.
A lot of anti-vaccine videos were done by chiros and mostly tricked and gained legitimacy because of scrubs or doctors. I know, that's why I'm saying it's fucked up. I cannot stress this enough. They do this, baby. Stop.
I'm just kind of feeling for tightness and restriction.
Chiropractic is great for babies? No, it's not. Bro, jail.
On the top of her neck and then just putting a little bit of pressure there to try and release it. There we go. Good job.
That's jail, bro. Don't babies have like that soft spot on their head and stuff? You're accidentally gonna fuck up the baby permanently. Why does the baby need a chiropractor? He said it's great for babies. He didn't say it's good. He said it's great for babies, which blows my mind because... Okay, let's just get back to the video, please.
What's the point? It has a chilling effect on journalism.
Simon was sued because of an article he wrote in The Guardian, but he partnered with Edzard Ernst on this book. Edzard has been called the world's foremost expert on the claims and evidence, or lack thereof, for complementary and alternative medicine.
Prince Charles come to pay you a visit? King Charles, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
He's related to this story as well.
He has promoted chiropractic in all sorts of ways. It's not only chiropractic that he promotes anything that is bonkers.
No, that's not fair.
Charles one day decided to commission a report. As I was the only professor of alternative or complementary medicine, I was recruited to help. I saw a draft report which was so incredibly biased and full of mistakes that I said to the chap in charge, I can help you with that. I'll do a correction. And he said, no, thank you. I asked my name to be dropped from it. The next day, that was the title story of the Times, first page. Next, I get an email from Mr. Smallwood, who was the lead author of the report, saying, I will make sure that you regret that. A little while later, I get information from my peers at the university that they start an investigation into my wrongdoings. They had received a complaint from Charles's office. At the end, the Vice Chancellor wrote a letter to me that I was innocent of the allegations, but during these 13 months, everything had broken down, and I was told there's no money to carry on. I was so cheesed off that I then went into early retirement. Charles managed to close down the...
You think a fake practice would exist and expand across the country over years if it was really totally fake? Yes. Like 1,000,000%. Yeah, actually. 1,000%. Hello? Scientology? Christian Science? All the other fucking cults that have like popped off in like the late, or I mean early, I don't know, fucking 19th century? Yes. Especially in the United States of America, we're like a particularly stupid country. That's apples and oranges. Brother, we live in the United States of America. You're a 29-month subscriber. You've been through this process. You know how much people were writing for ivermectin and even, what was it? Hydrochloroquine or whatever? Like hydroxychloroquine, sorry. Scams all around. We are a nation that thrives on multi-level marketing schemes. So many MLMs pop up here. Like, it's unimaginable.
The only worldwide research unit that critically and systematically looked into alternative medicine.
I talked to a lot of people for this story.
It is so hard to have chronic pain. It is so hard to have any chronic condition.
You just want that pain to go away, and you're willing to do whatever they say to do.
Their words are a direct result of Chester Wilkes' successful lawsuit in 1990.
They're preying on that hope of a cure.
Every time I've talked about that topic is less on the side of me coming at chiropractic, but more so to the defense of people who've been harmed by chiropractic.
I think part of what chiropractic does is that it preys on vulnerable and desperate people.
I feel bad for those patients because they're getting ineffective treatment.
Every workers' compensation insurance carrier in the United States of America pays for chiropractic. Medicare pays for it.
Did they decide to do that voluntarily, or did you ram laws through the state legislatures to get them to do it?
I think somehow chiropractic has found a way to manipulate the system.
Really? They have like a really strong lobbying arm. What politicians are involved?
Both sides.
Really?
Both sides.
It's bad enough.
Always, baby.
When you're exploiting people for their money, I think it's even worse when you're exploiting them for their money and their health.
Have you ever been unfortunate enough to have gone to a chiro appointment? No. I've been in a situation where like, I think it was like one of the cons that we went to where there was like a dude who was a PT who like cracked some of my shit, but I made sure that they were like an actual PT first. He's like, yeah, I know like chiro stuff too, but I'm like a physical therapist first and foremost. So like, that's very different. Yeah, it was the massage gun guy. You guys remember? I was on camera. So that is very, very different than, you know, a person who is doing chiropractic shit. I am a firm believer. I am a firm believer in physical therapy. It's really, 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 really important and very good. And I would even go so far as to say much better than like trying to medicate the pain away, even though there are obviously instances where you have to do the medication. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about like chronic pain and shit like that, but like in most circumstances, if you're talking about like muscle, like issues caused by some kind of muscular imbalance or like a strain or anything like that, physical therapy is how people, wait, what? Physical therapy is how people start walking again. What are you talking about? You got motherfuckers that like get into car accidents and shit that are like paralyzed, and through physical therapy, they are able to rehab their injuries and unironically start walking again. That's crazy that you said that's a grift. There is no way that you can imagine you're in a fucking massive car accident. You can't walk anymore, paralyzed on the leg down. You go to the chiropractor, he just like snaps your shit. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can walk again. Oh, Jesus Christ. So many more people would be permanently disabled if it wasn't for physical therapy.
Totally fucking always misaligned. So am I like doomed?
Alignment is just realistic. It kind of falls in with that the subluxation. I would say that's like the new branch, because I think the term subluxations, I think people have kind of found out that it's...
There's also a real risk.
With certain chiropractic manipulations, particularly of the upper spine, you can do a lot of injury.
Here's how you know PT is actually better. Chiropractic covered by insurance. PT not usually covered by insurance. It's like takes a while to get covered by insurance. Therefore, that's how you know one is a real thing and the other one is bullshit. Okay? Fuck this country. Oh my God, our healthcare system is so busted.
A 28-year-old woman lies paralyzed. The result, her family says, of a neck adjustment by a chiropractor.
What happens most frequently is that an artery breaks up that supplies the brain, and then you have a stroke, and of a stroke you can die.
4 arteries were ruptured. She suffered a stroke and cardiac arrest.
About 100 fatalities have been reported in the medical literature.
After a model died just days after visiting the chiropractor.
That sounds very, very little, but we know that underreporting is almost 100%. The true figure is anybody's guess.
She was on a photo shoot when she hurt her neck, and now we're learning treatment for that injury ended up costing her her life.
If you go to a scientific conference, it's full of people arguing and debating and so on, and it's really important we do that, whereas in alternative medicine, they were given a free pass. Oh, it's traditional. Oh, it's natural. It must be safe.
So why did this happen?
Today I have irritable bowel syndrome. Is there a doctor around I could talk to?
Of course, he has the potential to make everything better. No matter what goes inside the body, he has the potential to make it better. That's just the bottom line. How it makes it better, I can't tell you.
It's because one day, D.D. Palmer had an idea.
When I got to chiropractic school, that's when I realized there's a whole other world. A lot of people are based in sort of that deep sort of philosophy-based style. I would say my journey as a student didn't involve a whole lot of that, especially right away.
You know, they're decent people. A lot of them are decent people. They want to help people. They go into medicine because they want to be healers and so on. But they really are misguided. Many of them are hugely misguided.
Yeah, dude, they went into medicine like I went into medicine, okay? I didn't. That's the whole point, I think.
Their understanding of basic biology.
You start to notice it and you're like, oh, that's, you know, interesting. That doesn't sound like logical, for lack of better words. You look into it and you'd be like, oh, that's way behind in research or it's not supported.
In recent history, some chiropractors have rejected D.D. Palmer's theories. Some even started an organization. As a chiropractor, if you want to get into the NACM, you have to reject Palmer's theories. But in 2010, the NACM sent out an email. It said this: all good things come to an end. We tried and we failed. Chiropractic is a failed profession. And officially, the NACM ceased to exist.
This is the story of America, is a misrepresentation of what it takes to get wealthy. It's bad enough when you're exploiting people for their money. I think it's even worse when you're exploiting them for their money and their health.
Being cared for, being talked to, inevitably has a very powerful placebo effect. Back pain is one of the conditions most amenable to placebo effects.
Huge disclaimer here. This is not medical advice. Talk to your doctors. Your medical doctors.
What conditions do you treat here?
We treat most all illnesses here, Ms. Martin, both acute and chronic.
This is the password that childhood me used for everything. Sir Nibliton was the name of my childhood hamster. Laugh all you want. I know you did it too. In May of 2016, my password was leaked from Neopets, of all places, meaning that all of my other accounts using that same password.
Okay, guys, go check out this channel. Okay, Hassan Abihead backed channel, Ethical Reacts. This is a 3-month-old video, so I don't think this one works any longer. But here.
Put your hands together. Let's hear it for Fishbowl.
We'll hit the fishbowl.
Okay, so as you guys know, I've had an ongoing one-sided beef with Charlie, also more popularly known as Moist Critical. He's a huge commentary streamer creator with a big loyal audience. And it's got back to him that that he's a cookie soundbite. Go ahead, Zach, that one.
It's cool to be a soundbite, I suppose. It's about the cookies that Pokey was selling.
No, not that one. The one he's referring to. Yeah.
Have to factor in that the bags aren't even big to begin with. It's 4 ounces per bag. 4 ounces of cookies for $7 is still a lot, especially when you compare it to the product that they're basing it off of and supposedly approved upon. Those were $10 a bag for 14 ounces. They offered you 10 ounces more of product.
14 ounces.
They were sold in Costco. A lot of people really enjoyed them, but most people
he's
didn't
cooking.
like the price. That was a pain point of that.
This dude is doing
for a bag
straight
of
up
cookies is a lot.
calculus
So
right now.
$7 for a smaller bag of cookies, significantly smaller, is a lot too.
So at any rate, I find, I want to make it clear. Let's watch what he said, and then I want to clear everything up here for dear Charles.
I know Ethan hates me now. I don't really know why, but yeah.
Oh no! I know, it makes me feel bad.
It's about the cookies that Pokey was selling. What, the soundbite? I don't see where that would be applicable in like normal sound bites, but I guess I don't know which part of it.
No, dude, it's really a good one. It's one of my favorites at the moment.
Such a good sound bite.
Let me put it this way, Charlie. First of all, I don't hate you. We've crossed paths many times in our careers, and I respect you, what you've done, and I think you're a good dude. And also, you weren't wrong about what you said about Pokey calling people poor. That, I agree, was out of hand. The part that just cracks me up is just the description, the analysis of the cookie price, and it is tremendous. And I mean that with all respect. It's one man doing a calculus on a cookie, and I appreciate that. It's all love.
I was surprised that was such a controversial take. I felt like that was something Ethan would completely agree with. Like, that's something I've been consistent about from the very beginning. I've always made fun of people that, like, financially shame someone else, even if it's...
I do agree with him on that point. And that's his thing. It's just the cookie analysis that I was... And I'm not even criticizing. I'm not even saying you're wrong. They are very expensive cookies,
All roads lead to this being inexpensive.
All roads.
That is the hard pill to swallow.
All roads lead to the overwhelming conclusion that this cookie is too expensive. That's funny. Come on.
I know Ethan hates me now.
I don't hate you, Charlie, and that makes me sad to hear that.
It's cool to be a soundbite, I suppose.
It is cool.
I think it's an. I really love his, and I think supporters need to create support supporters. People support other people.
Right.
It is just like injustice. I don't know why that was ever such a big issue. Did it for Rice Gum, everyone, XQC, that Josh Franklin guy, for fucking years.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he's just probably hasn't watched it, which is okay. I don't blame him for that. I don't generally seek out people goofing on me. You know, it hurts my feelings. I'm sensitive.
I don't know why that was ever such a big issue.
Friendly going for Zone B.
Right. Now, that wasn't the issue. The top comment said it good. It wasn't an issue. Charlie ranting about cookie prices is just fucking funny. It is.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, I'm assuming he didn't actually hear the sound.
Right.
Yeah. I hope that he would listen to it, and so he knows. And I'll be honest. When we're talking about Charlie, it's just silly. It's part of my hater ass bitch persona. But you should know that there's a vast number of people in our audience that are Charlie evangelists, and they love Moist Critical. In fact,
I know Ethan hates me now.
that's not true, man, and it makes me sad to hear that. Let's do a poll, just because I want Charlie to see this and know that it's all love from the H3 Army. Do you should we say
fuck with me Friday?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we fuck FW fuck with Charlie?
Do you fucks with Charlie?
Just FW, because I don't want to be too vulgar and write fuck.
See, a lot of people don't like Ethan, and that's totally fine. You don't
I'm
have to
voting
like
yeah. I
everyone or
fucks with
anything.
Moist Critical.
See, he understands. You know, I don't have to prime my audience when I mention you.
Do you have the brass tacks of it? That is a hard pill to swallow.
I'm getting a huge turnout in Charlie's favor at the moment here. Almost 70% is coming in favor. They're saying, we F with Charles. and we co-signed the cookie analysis.
Engage the camo.
Very good.
Really some out-of-touch shit. And the really foul part about all of this that my little noodle will never be able to wrap itself around, Bub, you need them, and you are dropping trouser and shitting in their mouth right now by just insulting
Well,
them.
to be fair, people would pay
that's
for
really about
Poke to
it.
shit in their mouth probably, but not necessarily. That's a bonus, I think, in her case.
Cool to be a soundbite.
For her fans. But I hope you don't. Yeah, I hope you know we don't hate you, Charlie. In fact, we love you. 70% of us love you. Only 30% of us hate you, which is pretty good ratio.
Yeah, definitely.
30%, and you guys get your shit together. Be nice. You know what I mean?
And those 30%, I'm sure a lot of them maybe just don't watch his content.
Right.
They don't fuck with
Yeah,
him.
and that's
Not that they
okay.
don't like
I really
him.
know why, but yeah.
You don't have to F with everybody.
We're on track for
Don't
mission
really know
success.
why, but yeah.
Keep it up.
I hope that I've explained that it, it's all
Don't.
love. Okay. Don't what?
We're securing
I was surprised that was such a controversial take.
One more time about the cookies for the final analysis.
Like, $28, no matter how you spend
Let me break this
is a
down.
lot for some fucking cookies.
28
$7 a bag,
Yeah.
and that's still expensive. But then you also have to factor in that the bags aren't even big to begin with. It's 4
Small
ounces
bags.
per bag. 4 ounces of cookies
Not a
for
lot.
$7 is still a lot, especially when you compare it to the product that they're basing it off of and supposedly approved upon.
Right.
Those were $10 a bag for 14 ounces.
Okay, they're
They offer
expensive.
you
I get
10
it.
Ounces more of product. And they were sold in Costco.
No, I already agree. You don't have to keep going.
Most people didn't like the price. That was a pain point of that. $10 for a bag of
Yeah,
cookies is a
dude,
lot.
I know.
So
They're
$7
expensive
for a
cookies. What do you-
smaller bag of cookies, significantly smaller, is a lot too.
Right.
Like,
Can we move on,
it doesn't
Charlie?
matter how you boil down this math. All roads lead to this being an expensive product.
all
That's the
roads.
brass tacks of it. That is the hard pill to swallow.
So you see what I do? I do this play, and it's very fun. It's very fun.
It's really fun.
It's an honor.
You know what I'm noticing, though? I'm really picking up on that Charlie has some elements of hater-ass bitch. And that's kind of the root of this. And you yourself being a hater-ass bitch, maybe that is where the bridge foundation. Yeah.
What is he a hater ass bitch about? Just because he's critical?
He's critical.
He does commentary.
I hope I'm
just like,
stealing
you know,
someone's
he's a critic.
He's hating on the cookies.
I'm just saying, it's something.
He was extremely wet.
Something that.
He's very moist. Maybe we could build on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Charlie, if there's anything I can do.
You can find things that you both hate and hate on them together.
I hate expensive cookies.
You do?
I fucking hate expensive cookies, bro.
I know Ethan hates me now.
No, I hate the cookie. I love you.
Don't really know why, but yeah.
Anyway, just a little clickbait. Not a big deal. I apologize.
I hate you now. I don't really know why, but yeah.
That's the problem with this show. It's just everybody catches strays here. You know.
You're unmuted. What, the soundbite?
Oh, what? This.
Yeah, you need to mute that. Yeah, cool.
It worked?
Yeah.
Mute site. All right. But I apologize. It made me feel bad when you said that. So just know I'm here.
Someone in the chat said you both hate the 14 pages guy.
One more time.
You both hate the 14 pages guy?
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
It's That's what somebody in the chat says. Yeah. So maybe that's the bridge.
If you want to talk about sound bites, someone send Charlie.
Oh yeah, right.
a video of them crying about the sound bites. That's just fun.
Page, meticulously argued document.
I'd love to collab on goofing on 14 pages guy.
Mighty Mouse says Charlie and Ethan are twin haters, but Charlie's a professional yapper. I mean, some may think